As you can see in the image before you, the image before you is what I call it is slim pickings on YouTube these days, and probably, well, as far as I'm aware of YouTube over the last whatever period, since 2009, I created a channel called Art Brand to begin with, and then H.Thomas Ackerman, my name. I'm not a no-name character. I actually have a name attached to my icon, a portrait of myself, an image, a watercolor I made of my image myself. It's an interpretation, and YouTube is slim pickings for me anyway these days. There are so few people that actually do contribute to my well-being. I find quite a bit of curiosity for myself. There is a level of entertainment on YouTube. I want to comment today, almost the last day of this year, whatever that means. Every day is another day. Whether or not it fits into a year or a century or a millennium, who the hell knows? We are under threat as a species, as all life on this earth is under threat from the nuclear pollution, which is continuing 24/7. They're producing lethal toxic materials, and it's not just nuclear isotopes. It is a whole range of toxic materials that we have complied with. I have complied with. I feel there is a great debt to pay in eternity. I will address eternity again. I've been talking about eternity in my last couple of videos. I will address that again. But I think that in my own sense, my own feeling about YouTube, it is slim pickings. Honestly, it is slim pickings these days. People find satisfaction out of posting things about themselves in terms of not their own lives, but generally speaking, to externalize their experience that something is happening outside of themselves that is really important. And I continuously try to accentuate the idea that what is really important is what's happening in our inner world. And people say to themselves, well, you know, by expressing my awareness and understanding about the big picture, I reveal something about myself. I am growing, I am understanding, I am seeing how the world really works. But I actually have recognized, and this is over the last, probably over the last 6 months, I'm refining this idea more and more, that the experience of this medium that I use is actually, it's not used to the extent that it would actually inspire and drive my sense of curiosity. It does, well, let me put it this way. I am inspired by some of the people I listen to on YouTube that initiate a curiosity within me, but curiosity in itself is rather, it's not an end. Curiosity is not an end. It's something towards becoming within myself. I use this feeling within myself of curiosity all the time when I make art, when I make paintings. What you see behind me right there, I think I'm on screen now. What you see behind me, these are images that originate in a sense of curiosity that I feel about the world that I live in. And what I think is really important, what I've noticed, and I'll just reference again a couple of people that I've been paying attention to, and it varies. I think I really have, in some way, I have a sense of a direction, having understood that we live in an age that I call the age of fission. I have understood aspects of this medium to some extent, not fully, but to some extent, that it is a medium that orchestrates consensus. And people that appear on this medium, people within a small group relative to the existence of all of all consciousness on this planet. Like if you talk about life in general, YouTube is irrelevant and the internet is irrelevant. Life is so complex and extensive, and it's under threat. It's under threat, like I have said. It has no meaning other than to some, as Blanche says, beer drinking mammals. We get attracted to this. And yeah, I refer to Blanche occasionally because he has made a difference in my life. As you notice, I don't refer to Kevin too much anymore, because what happens is as we grow as individuals, we go through experiences, we understand what it is that is important to each of us. And every person has what I feel is a center that emanates, that pushes something into the external world. Now, this is very important, and it is connected in a sense to the narrative, my narrative on eternity, that I'm going to expound on a little bit more. But as we push this sense of self into the external world, let's make sure it's what it is that we want to project. Let's not take the worst parts of us, which is happening for the most part among people on YouTube as well, but within the scheme of things, reality is something that is being projected by each person that has the ability to conjure thought, emotion, feeling, spirit, and it's reflected like a mirror in what we understand to be reality. This is nothing new. I'm not saying anything new. This is actually how things work. We don't think of it in those terms because it's something that's out there. It's not in here. And I find this quite curious. And I'm going to just talk a little bit about people that I've been paying attention to and don't pay attention too much anymore on YouTube. One was a woman called Cindy K. Courier. She's now in a bit of a controversial thing with a guy called Quinn Michaels, a Buddhist. He keeps saying he doesn't want to talk about religion, but it keeps coming up, this whole Buddhist thing he wants to propagate, and the dogma. Just keep it to yourself. I'm not going to talk about my faith and belief and this and that from a point of view of the dogma of an external world. I suppose I have certain affinities to ways of thinking, but they're my own. They're within my inner world. And I don't need to verify it by pushing it out into the external world. I push it out in ways that don't actually blah, blah, blah. I try to act it. And in that sense, my paintings are representations of this Buddhism or Christianity or Hebrew or Jainism or Muslim or Confucianism, whatever it is that I represent in my work is actually my, I guess I could call it my faith. Although I'm not big on faith, I'm much more attached to the idea of hope, that each one of us has a feeling of being hopeful about something, which energizes me incredibly. Just as an example, that I'm making work, and I don't make work on the premise that it's going to sell. I make my work on the basis of my own curiosity and my own learning and my own process in living. So what's my point? Yes, I think about this because quite often I started my YouTubes with a very specific topic in mind, but I more than not have deviated as I speak, as I make this up, as I go. I have deviated from any idea that I might have had. But my point in this is that YouTube is becoming very slim pickings. That doesn't mean I don't pay attention to things. There's incredible, fabulous music you can get off YouTube. There are probably other ways of doing that, but I found I've really built a fabulous library off YouTube, and I've come across people that activate my own way of thinking. In order for me to verify or clarify feelings I have, I listen to other people. And as an example, I'll just give an example. This woman, Cindy K. Courier, who is natural law, is now in a bit of a tiff with this Quinn Michaels because she's using his material and he says, oh, you can't use my material. If you do, go ahead, but I don't approve of it. And please, once you post this, it becomes public domain. People can refer to it. The extent to which they use it and try to alter your message, which has been done to me. My videos have been used to disparage my own message by altering the intent behind it. And I don't like it. And I think Quinn Michaels is perfectly right in saying, stop using my material unless you actually know what the hell I'm talking about. And this lady hasn't got a clue what this fellow is talking about. I'm pretty sure about this. But I have my issues with this fellow Quinn Michaels, and I have my issues with Rise Together, do your stuff. I'm no longer listening to the Cindy K. Courier because, number one, she actually disparaged Kevin Annett. And for whatever people come out on Kevin Annett, he has exposed the residential schools, the nature of child abuse and murder in Canada. How can you take that away from someone? Whether you're a native or whether you're a honky white type, how can you take this away from someone? Whether or not he is using this to propagate his own meaning of wellness and importance in the world, he has contributed to the psyche of you and I understanding that something isn't working. And working, when I say something isn't working, it is really nasty and horrible. So how can you disparage? And this woman just sort of dismissed Kevin Annett, and that started to kind of create warning signs for me. And then the other thing was she came out with this idea of the 5 levels of truth. And I have always said that truth is a moving target. It's not something that you can actually propagate as a universal or something that comes from Mount Olympus in any kind of way, because it truly is a moving target. So she's in a controversy because this Quinn Michaels, now this is interesting. Now Quinn Michaels is interesting from the point of view that he has articulated something that I've had great suspicions around, and that is the idea that what is considered to be artificial intelligence, also in some form connected to the concept of transhumanism. And these are just concepts. These are things that you can take and interpret whichever way you want. The way I interpreted this idea of transhumanism is to take us away from an essence, something that actually makes everything work the way you and I understand it, the way I work, the way you work, the sense that, for example, that if you hurt someone's feelings or you hurt someone, you want to set it right. This is how things work. The world does not work on more wrongs than rights. You have to have more rights than wrongs, meaning that if you do something that hurts and makes another feel bad about themselves or attempts to make someone be worse off, is ultimately going to work, is not going to work for you or me either. People need to feel good about themselves in order for stuff to work. It has to basically fundamentally be that. And if you have a faith and a belief or something, and it makes you feel better about yourself and you make others feel better about themselves, I would say you're on a pretty decent strategy. I'm totally on board with that. And I don't need anybody to give me the 10 rules or the 15 or 20 rules of anything to make it work. And this Courier lady came out with the 5 levels of truth, and that's when I said, okay, game over, finished. It's like dogmatizing our existence. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because YouTube is slim pickings these days. So people of interest to me fall by the wayside. And there are some that do not, because I have personal relations, like Lonnie Clark. I talk to Lonnie Clark. It always helps people to have like a one-on-one, which is what their controversy is. Like this Michaels guy says, you didn't call me and you used my stuff. And And Rise Together, Cindy Courier says, oh yeah, well, you know, I want to talk to you, give me your phone number, I want to, you know, get it together with you. Well, go ahead and join up and have a good time. But ultimately, it is the relationship we have with each other that strengthens our own, that strengthens the connection that actually could make things work a lot better than they are right now. So my comment, the slim pickings on YouTube, is like everybody's out there like bloody goddamn swamis all over the place, pretending to themselves that they have the meaning of the cosmos at their disposal, and they're representatives like Akhenaten for the omnipotent being in some way. They may not say it in those terms, but that's how it's turning out. And it truly is slim pickings. I really find myself quite isolated more and more as I pay attention on this medium. Slim pickings. So the thing that I came across that I'm going to mention, and this is, I don't know if this ties into my eternity idea, but the fact that I'm going to talk about Bitcoin. I'm going to talk about shitty Bitcoin shitcoin. And I've said that it is a platform to digitize all existence. For us, for you and me, what is relevant in terms of existence is being cataloged and digitized and attempted to create a value around it in terms of some form of manipulation. And Bitcoin is a form of manipulation that'll end badly. It's gone down now, I think it'll go a lot higher. I don't think it's finished. I think it'll go a lot higher because this euphoria has not really set in. The euphoria has not really taken hold yet. It's just the precursor. I've gone into this. Look at my Bitcoin videos. So the idea of how can this platform, this YouTube, which I think is fabulous in so many ways, how can it actually benefit you and me in some form? You comment, you look at something. This is not real. I am standing in a real space, but it's not real for you unless you know me. If you contact me, like Quinn Michaels and the Rise Together lady, they're trying to create some sort of a... I have my suspicions about this whole thing. I think, again, it's like a way of making something feel real to you and me when it's not. They don't know each other. They're carrying on, and maybe they do know each other. No, I doubt it. But there is this sense of reality unfolding in front of our eyes like real YouTube TV, and it's got nothing to do with reality whatsoever because we're so in the headlights of everything that's out there and we forget to see what's in there. So I find this to be quite curious drama unfolding again. I'm attempting to collect my thoughts because, like most of my videos, I kind of just flow. I let my thoughts flow into the direction that they want to go. And my idea of slim pickings, yeah, slim pickings, yee-haw, yee-haw. If you and me attach any value beyond, how far would I go on a scale of 1 to 10? What does YouTube mean to me, and what does it mean to post and interact with people in comments? I absolutely love the comments and people interacting, and the views that have been obviously manipulated. Some of my videos are stuck at 304 views. Maybe this is an algorithm, or 309 views for a couple of days, and then they go down to 80 views or 70 views. And then, of course, I am someone who seems to be able to get more thumbs down always relative to thumbs up. What does that mean? It's usually 2 to 1, 3 to 1. I get 10 up and 30 down. What is that about? I don't get it. I don't understand. So all of this, oh yes, now I know where I wanted to go with this. The Quinn Michaels thing about Tyler, this whole thing about Tyler. That the AI, this process towards some remake of you and me, whatever it is, this AI is, in some form or other, this Quinn Michaels says, We can direct this where we want to go. But I ask you, I don't even remember my shopping list from last week. How could I possibly program anything to work better for all of humanity and all life on this planet through an AI called Tyler? This is deranged. This is on the verge of retarded. That if you think you are capable of programming something into a system that will actually be able to manipulate and control our existence in a better way, this is delusional. Again, it's projecting something outside of ourselves that has to happen within. I've been saying this, and I don't know why this is so obvious to me, because the idea, I'll finish it here. The idea of actually being connected to each other is not predicated on recognizing the outside world as much as it is recognizing what it is within ourselves that is of value. What is the most important thing to me? And I've come through this holiday, this ridiculous holiday called Christmas. What is of value to me is being able to initiate or inspire people around me to come together in some way and feel better about themselves. And you can do this at any time of the year. It doesn't have to be restricted just to one time of the year. So my thought of this controversy between these two individuals, their egos, digital egos, butting up to each other, and they're like digital swamis on YouTube. Who the hell gives a, who cares? Who cares? Live your life with honesty, integrity, and decency, and live your conscience. This is what I say. That's how things will change. And I appreciate this platform, YouTube, for me just to say something that I feel within myself. I am telling you about myself. I'm not talking about you or Trump. Oh, by the way, I think this is precious. I got this for Christmas. What do you think of my new hat? Does it work with the logo? Does it work with the logo? Would you say? So, I hope I don't get beaten up in my town, although I think my town is going to be more inclined to take me in as their favorite son if I wear this hat in my town. So my point is, I wish you all the best. I honestly do. I wish you all the best. And we need to transition from this sort of spectacle of anything, whether it's YouTube or whether it's like anything that we attach ourselves to that's not coming from within ourselves, is of no value ultimately. So I have to reiterate, if I don't do something before New Year, I'll do something in the new year. All the best to all of you. I think you're fabulous, and people of decency, integrity is what's going to actually make this experience better. And I know I don't want to end on a downer, but what I find always lacking in people like these Cindy K. Couriers or the Quinn Michaels or the SGT report or the Cliff Highs, the spiritual grease monkeys, the people that create digital consensus, what they all fail to see is that we are literally under threat. The nuclear monster is breathing down our necks. Like, I have to say, I am completely 100% sure about this, because we see the extinction going on around us, and it's even beyond that. It's an extermination. And how do we counter this? We can change this, people. We can change this by living our calling through conscience. This is how we change it. The world will change immediately. You don't need Tyler AIs and natural laws and all this dogma that they're imposing on us, or attempting, not imposing. They're small operators that I don't know how connected they are to each other and whatever. I don't know. How do you know what's real anymore? But I'm saying it comes down to a very personal decision. Everything works better when we relate to this from an inner experience, not what's happening out there, what's happening in here, and then letting it go out, letting it go out. Okay, all you Trump kids, I hope I don't get beaten up wearing this hat.